And now it's time for the Eliminator RC Tip of the Week.
Hi, I'm Ryan from Eliminator RC. Today's tech tip is choosing the right helicopter for you. The nice part about helicopters is they range in size, from the smallest to some of the larger ones. There's always something for you in between. If you haven't flown before and are interested in getting into helicopters, it's a great thing to get into. Make sure you go down to your local hobby store so you can be guaranteed that you can get parts for the machine that you buy. Because there's nothing worse than buying a helicopter you can't get parts for. Something like this with a dual set of blades is coaxial. One set spins one way, whereas the other one spins the other way. That causes the helicopter to be very stable in the air, and it doesn't need a tail rotor because it can rotate by changing the speed of the motors. This is a common beginner type helicopter because there's really no experience needed because it's not going to be jittery or twitchy in the air. It'll be nice, slow, and subtle, and easy to fly. Get yourself into something like this rather than jumping into something with a single set of blades, because often we see people getting into those and getting discouraged because they react quite fast and accidents happen very quick. Something like the Blade SR here is a nice second step up, or a very big first step if you have the patience. And it is a fixed pitch helicopter. It has a single set of blades on the head as well as a tail rotor. It doesn't go upside down like a collector pitch helicopter, but you can bank it very hard and you can fly it as a hover, or you can go forward, backwards, side to side, and you can adjust your lift with it. Something like this is smaller, so it's going to be very durable because it is a plastic constructed head. So it'll take a beating, and it'll take crashing into the walls or into each other even. If you've flown a fixed pitch helicopter and got the hang of it and wanted another step up, you can get into something in a collective pitch. Something like the T-Rex 250 is a pretty serious collective pitch because it is a belt-driven tail, whereas most have a separate tail motor for the back. Something like this, you do have the ability to fly it upside down with quite a bit of practice, of course, and it is also a learning curve and is always keeping you on the edge of your seat. Something like this never gets boring. And then you get into the bigger guys. Something like this is the big new Align 600 EFL Pro 3GX flybarless helicopter. There's no flybar like the smaller ones. This guy here is very responsive and is very high tech. Something like this ranges you about $1,000 plus for the helicopter itself, but it is a lot of fun to fly. This guy can fly inverted. It can fly from a matter of an inch to the ground to as high up where you can't even see it. Now hopefully that gives you some insight on picking your own helicopter for yourself. If you are a first timer, it is always better to get your feet wet with a coaxial helicopter just to get yourself off the ground and flying. If you want a little bit of adrenaline thrown into it, try a fixed pitch. And always remember to go to your local hobby store to buy your helicopter, because there's nothing worse than buying it online or at the mall and not being able to get parts for it after. That's your tech tip of the week, and enjoy your RCTV.
And we got one of my favorite subjects here, Admiral Harriman Nelson's Seaview. What can you tell us about this beautiful model?
Yeah, this is again an RC model. Unfortunately, she's not working today. I don't have the interior in it right now. But I received this haul from a friend, Rick Teskey from Ontario. It was somewhat crude, and basically I did have to rebuild it. But I think I got it up to good standards now. I was fortunate enough to be in LA and see the original 4-foot miniature, which was always behind the Walter Pigeon desk. And I have a picture of me holding it, and I was proud of it. It runs well, lights work on her.
And this is the original movie version, because us people who know Voyage to the Bottom Sea know the difference between the later television series 2-windowed version and the original movie series 8-windowed.
That's correct, yeah. This is the original movie version, the 8-window version. And they actually used this in the first season of the TV series, I believe. And then they went color with the 4-window, with the flying sub. I don't have the diving bell, but they'd always release this in the movie. If you remember, these hatches would open up and they'd float underneath.
And like most submarines from World War II, I guess there was humongous diesel engines that ran these, and then an electric system with batteries that they charged with the diesel engines when they were on the surface.
Yes.
And there was 2 motors for each shaft?
There's 4 motors, 4 Fairbanks Motors diesels in 2 separate engine rooms.
And this radio runs on a regular 4-channel radio.
This one has a 6-channel. It dives and brings in water, blows out water using high pressure air. Of course, the rudder and dive planes in the rear work.
Derek, come down here. Well, that's it for this week's episode of RCTV. On next week's episode, we're going to be hooking up with Roger Schwinn. He's got to go to the cottage and play with one of those small electric zigzag boats. Also, we're going to be going to one of the best off-road tracks in Canada, in my opinion, out in BC. See you next week, folks. Take care.
RCTV, your radio-controlled authority, has been brought to you in part by Eliminator RC, your one-stop hobby shop. RC Pit Stop, bringing the best of RC to BC. And John's Hobbies, Toronto's local hobby store.